Okay, so TIA, totally integrated automation portal. So the idea behind the word totally integrated automation is there are different tools or components that makes up the automation system, in which we have PLC, we have VFD, we have HMI, we have PID, we have any other form of controller that you can think of. Okay, so for TIA, the reason why they now call it total integrated automation is previously the station softwares are separated such that we have different software for PLC, different software for HMI, different software for PLC. But now we have bring everything together into a single portal or a single platform, which they call the TIA or totally integrated automation. Okay, so with TIA portal, there are a lot of configurations that you can be able to do. One of them is your device and network. So you can be able to select the kind of device, any device that you want to work with, the PLC, the HMI, the VFD, by going to your device, selecting your device via the device and network section. You can do your PLC programming, okay, in TIA portal. So for your motion and technology, vis-a-vis things like your stepper motor and or your servo motor, you can configure it using the TIA. And then you have the drive parameterization, the VFD, okay. The VFD like the S120, the G120 VFD and the likes, you can be able to configure them with your TIA portal. And then any other control devices that you can think of from Siemens, you can be able to do that. For visualization, that is for your HMI design and all, you can be able to use the TIA portal. And for your troubleshooting, online and diagnostics, you can be able to make use of the TIA portal. There are two basic views in TIA portal. We have the project view and the portal view. So this is the portal view. Okay, this is the portal view. So if I want to go to project view, I can just click on this place and it will take me to project view. So let it take us to project view. Okay, so this is the project view. Later on, we'll come back to this place to explain some things about the project view. So, but for now, let's go back to portal view. Okay, so from your portal view, these are the things you can be able to do. You can open existing projects, you can create new projects, you can migrate projects. Of course, you can close projects. That's when you open a project already, and then there is a welcome tour for you to learn about the TIA. So then you can view the installed software. If you need any help, you can come here. Then the language you want to use, you can see it here or select the language you want to use here. So what does it mean to migrate a project? When you talk of migrating projects, it's there are different versions of TIA itself, and we used to have step 7 version 5 and the like. So if you have a program that is written in version 5, for example, and you want to bring it into TIA portal, you can use the migrate project option, so you can be able to migrate it into TIA portal. Okay, that's what the migration is for. Okay, so and the welcome tour, if you go there, what you can do that on your own later on, but when you click on this welcome tour, it's going to direct you to a particular website that shows you an overview of TIA portal and tell you, okay, this it will run you through every component of TIA portal so that you can be acquainted with it. Okay, so you can go to that website later on at your own when you are less busy. So let's look at installed software. So this install software is going to show us the softwares that we have inside the TIA portal. Okay, so you can see in my own TIA portal, I have the totally integrated automation portal version 18. Okay, update 1. That's what I have here. The options under it, I have the TIA portal openness,
I have the TIA Portal Team Center Gateway, I have the TIA Portal Version Control Interface, and I have the TIA Portal Test Suite Advanced. Okay, so I also have software like the Simo Code ES, and I have the Dynamic Start Drive Advanced software. That one is for the drive configuration and parameterization. So you can see there are different drives there, the G130, G150, G120, and all. And also I have the step 7 professional here. So this step 7 professional is the software for your PLC, and then you see the step 7 safety for your safety PLCs, and then we have the WinCC professional here. So the WinCC professional is such that you can use it to WinCC basically is for HMI and SCADA. So when you have a WCC professional, it means that you can do beyond HMI. You can also do SCADA. So who else has something different from what I have? You have okay. Okay. So you will not have single point, you will not have dynamics if you don't install them. You have to install them separately. Okay. So let's start with Mohammed. What do you have? What do you have? You have some professional and WCC advanced. So with WCC advanced, okay, you have WCC professional, what do you have? WCC advanced, WCC professional, advanced, okay, advanced, advanced. So there is WCC basic, there is WCC advanced, and there is WCC professional. Okay, so WCC basic and WCC advanced, they fall under your situation where you want to work with HMI. Okay, you can't do beyond HMI for WCC basic and advanced. And WCC basic have some set of HMI that can work with it, and then advanced have more. It can do all what WCC basic can do, and then have more HMI. But for WCC professional, you can be able to do all your HMI and your scale. I hope that is clear. Okay, so you will not have the dynamics, the drive and all that I have with me, except you install the package. You have to go back to where you get your software, download the drive function, and then install it. I don't have it. Let's start by creating a new project. Okay, well, before then, let's look at the user interface language. So you can see, you can come here to select the kind of language that you want to display. So now I only have English. Who can tell me why I only have English here? When I was installing it, it was only English that I select. As soon as I select beyond English, I select Chinese and any other language. It's going to list them out here, and I can be able to switch between them. After all, I don't understand any other language apart from English. So that's why you have only English here. So that's it. Um, to create a project, we can say we click on create new project. Okay, so here we give our project a name. So let's say Ariel Siemens training part 1. Okay, so you can add you can choose where you want it to be saved. You can come here and click here if you want to change where you want it to be saved, but for me I will leave it where it is currently. If you have more than one version of the software installed, you can select the version of the project that you want to create from here. I have only 18, so that's why it's only 18 I can see here. So you can put your name here as the author. However, technology is here because that is the name of my system. So, but I can change it and put my name, Abdulbaki Olaoye. Okay, so can put a comment there to explain what the project is all about. Okay, let's just say internal training. Okay, so if there is any other thing that has to do with this project, you can put it there. So now I can click on create. So now I've clicked on create. Now it has created the project for us, and then it's asking us uh, to select the next step. As said, the project name, Siemens TIA Portal, was opened successfully. Please select the next step. So now we have options here, right? We have the option of configuring a device. We have the option of writing PLC program. We have the option of configuring a technology object. We have the option of parameterizing drive. We have the option of configure or select a device. And we have the option of configuring an HMI screen. And we have the option of viewing an improvement in the project view. So, what do you think is the next thing for us to do here? Are we together? So the next thing is actually to configure the device. Okay. So when you say configure a device, what are we doing? We are doing hardware configuration. Okay. There is another terminology for it. You might come across that in another. They might use another terminology in another PLC brand. But here, IO configuration, hardware configuration is basically the same thing. So what's IO configuration? What's hardware configuration? This is the process by which you tell your you state in your software that this is the kind of hardware I am. This is the kind of hardware I am working with. So you all have the PLC that you are working with in your phone. It is expected that you do your hardware configuration with the PLC in your phone. Those of you that have 300, you configure with 300. Those of you that have 1200, you configure with 1200. Those of you that have 1500. Okay, so now to configure a device, we click on configure a device. So now when you click on configure a device, what you see show all devices and you see add new device. Am I too fast? No. Is anybody behind us? Yes, sir. So you can see that show all devices is active. Okay, but you cannot see any PLC within that because no device have been configured yet. Okay, as soon as it's a project, an old project that I open, you will see PLC. And you see the PLC that we are working with. Okay, okay, but for now, our task is to add a new device. So click on add new device. Now we have different devices that we can add. We have the controllers, the HM. When I say controllers, we mean the PLCs and the like. We have the HMI, the PC systems. We have the drives, control devices. We only have, and this is because of the software installed. I have installed some other packages. That's why you see I have up to like 5 here. Okay, so now we have only 3 models of the PLC. We have the 1200, the 1500, and the 300. So for those of you that have 300, you need to click on this arrow. For those of you that have the 300, you click on this arrow. For those of you that have 1500, you click on this. For those of you that have 1200, you click on this. So for me, I will be configuring the 1500. So I'm going to click on this. So you see the CPU, click on the CPU. So the next thing is I need to look at my PLC, my hardware. What is the model number of the PLC? So I am working with 1511C1PL, right? The next thing is we need to select the exact part number. You can see that
There are two different CPU 1511C1PN. Their part number is what differentiates them. So by the side of the PLC, you should be able to see the part number. Okay, or even on the body. Okay, so we have what? I can call that one 6ES7 511 1CK01. So my own is 1CK01. So when you have selected your, what do we call it, the part number and the version of your PLC, if you don't know the version or you can't get the version for now, you can just pick the highest version available for now. Later on we will be looking into the version. So and then click on add. So now I think I'm on the same page with those that have version 16 now, right? So you can see your PLC here. Okay. So yesterday during the class, you will recall that I stated that for 1500 PLC, you can have up to 31 expansions. So from the CPU down to the last module. So you can see the CPU is occupying the first slot here. So and then you can have some other modules that you need to add to your system. You can add it from 2 to 4. So but our system here is a compact PLC and there is no other module. But should in case you needed to configure some other modules, you see this area where you see catalog, okay? You see we have a PM, that is power module. We have a PS, that is power supply. You have the CPU, that is the CPU, that's central processing unit. You have DI, digital input, DQ, digital output, DIDQ, digital input and digital output. What this means is that there are modules that combine both digital input and digital output on one. Okay, so AI analog input, AQ analog output, AI AQ. There are analog module that combine both analog input and analog output on one module. Special, these are special modules, communication modules for your CP, your for establishing communication from one device to another. Then technology modules, vis-a-vis modules that help you do PID, modules that help you do high speed counting and all. Semantic drive controllers, then interface modules. So you have all the modules that you may need here. That you so of all of this, you can be able to add your digital input module to this place, your digital output module to this rack or the rail. You can be able to add the DIDQ to this place, AIAQ, AIAQ, your communication module, your technology module. You can be able to add them to this rail if there is need. So for example, if I want to add a digital input module, I just have to click on this and then check for the kind of digital input module I want to add. State for example, I want to add a 16 input digital module. Okay, then I can come and select it. After knowing, I must have known the part number of the module as well. Then I will select that particular module. You can drag and drop. Okay, you can see it has updated it there. So you can drag and drop, or better still, you can also double click on a particular module that you want to add. So now that I double click, it will add it will add it to okay, it's asking which one do I want to add it to. Okay, so if you double click, you can see it added it to the slot 3. Okay, so you can either drag and drop or click on the module you want to add a module to, and then you double click. Okay, so that is how you go about your hardware configuration. So like I said,
All these module that I later added here, they are not needed. We don't even have it in our kit. So what I will do here is I'm going to remove them. I'm going to delete them. Um, delete. Okay, so now we have discussed about the hardware configuration. So we will now look at some we are going to look at some settings that we can do on our PLC and I/O addressing. Okay, so if click on your PLC, click on your CPU. So before then, you see this place, this place is what we call your project tree. Okay, so this project tree shows you all the devices that you have, and also your programming, your design, everything that you are doing, your PLC tag and everything. You can view them here. So and you can see some things at the menu tab here as well. Okay, so this place here where I did select some IOs earlier is called the hardware catalog. There are You can actually modify the screen to suit however you wish, how you want them to be. So if you want this place to be wider, if you want this area to be wider, you can bring it down, bring this property tab down, and then you can be able to view this more. So and if it is this one that you want, you can actually do this. Also you can do floating, you can float. Okay, so that means you want it to display more like an independent window, and you can return it back to where it was. You can embed, either embed or float. So many things you can play around the software as you deemed fit. Also before I continue with the showing you some settings on the PLC and IO configuration, I need you to know that when it comes to your device and networks, when it comes to your device and network, there are three basic view that you can have. You can have the device view, the network view, and the topology view. Okay, and the topology view. So the device view is to show you to give you a view of an individual device. Okay, of an individual device. So this device view, if you have more than one device that you are configuring in a project, you are going to be able to select them in this window, and by the time you click on that particular device, you will be able to do anything that has to do with just that particular device alone. So for topology view, this guy will show you all the devices that you have in a project. If you have an HMI, it will show somewhere here. If you have another PLC, it will show here. So it will show you all devices that you have in the in your project, and how you place them, and also how they it will show you how you place them. And also we have the network view. The network view also will show you all the devices that you have. Okay, so but it will not only show you all the devices you have, it will show you how you network them and how you connect them to one another. It will show you in the network view. But for now, we are dealing with the device view. Maybe when we proceed in the future of this course, when we start talking of connecting devices together, like maybe when we want to integrate our PLC with the HMI, we are going to revisit some of these views so that you can see how they appear there. Okay, so back to doing some setup on our PLC and IO configuration. So let's expand this part. So you will see three basic tabs here. You see the properties that shows the properties of the PLC. This info is basically going to show you information about your PLC. So by the time you start communicating with the PLC, if there is any issue, you will see it within this tab. Okay. So also diagnostics, it will give you some information about the PLC that will help you for fault findings and the like. So but we are going to be looking at the properties for now. Okay, so now
So these are the properties of the PLC. Are we together? So these are the properties of the PLC. This tells us the hardware component of the PLC and some of the things that the PLC is capable of doing. For the general, if I click on general now, you see something like project information. So project information basically is going to be showing you the name of the PLC. So if you give the PLC a name, you can decide to give your PLC a name if you want. So but for now it's taking the name of PLC1. So if you decide to change it to TIRAT, it's going to be from anytime you want to interact with that particular PLC, it will be displaying as TIRAT. Okay, so in here you can see PLC1, right? So but for the author now, you can see that this changed to TIRAT. So when I change the name here, this changed to TIRAT. Okay, so it was initially PLC1. If I change it again now, and maybe I add another thing, so underscore array, you can see it changed to TIRAT array. Okay, so who is the author? Okay, so who is the author? I think I am the author, so I put my name, Abdulbaki Olaoye. So comments, we can just put what? Training. Okay, and as you can see, it's also showing the rack and the slots that that the PLC is. So this rack, we are only having one rack, so definitely that's rack 0. And slot 1, this is the slot 1 that they are talking about. So the PLC is the slot 1. So apart from project information, you can also see something like catalog information. Okay, this catalog information will give you an overview of the PLC that you select. There's some description about it. Okay, the short designation, you can see CPU 1511C1PN. Okay, so and then the description is showing you the full description of the PLC, some of the things it can do, some of the things that it has. So you can see it has it's a CPU with display with this memory. It has Profinet interfaces. It can help you do S7 communication. It can help you. It has web server. It has, you can do OPC communication with it. It has 16 digital input, 16 digital output, 5 analog input, 2 analog output. So you can see all those information. This article number, the part number, you can see 6ES75111CK010AB0, and the firmware version of the PLC you selected is version 2.9. You can also change the decide to change the firmware version of the PLC. So if need be, that you can come and change it here if there is any reason to do that. Okay, so cancel, uh, uh, and there is a room to also update the module description. Okay, so that is that about catalog information. So for identification and maintenance, so for identification purpose, you can be able to say plant designation. Okay, so plant designation is just like where which plant, for example, which plant do you have this, or just to show where the location of where it is. So we can say let's me use training room 1. We are currently in training room 1. Okay, so we can say training room 1. Okay, so location identifier, so just to know the specific place, so I can say desk desk 3, or let's say right desk 3, because I am currently at the right desk 3. So but in a typical plant setting, you can say boiler room or things like that. Okay, so installation date. So today is the date we are doing this configuration. That's why it's showing this today's date there. So if you have any additional information you want to put, you can put it there. So that is that about that. Okay. Okay, so let's check the Profinet interface. All right. So this is the Profinet interface X1. Okay, so now it's only have one Profinet interface, so which is why they call it it's only have only one Profinet interface. If you have more than one, you can be saying something like Profinet interface X1, Profinet interface X2. Okay, so for this particular PLC, I think it only has one Profinet interface, I think. Yeah. So now you can also decide to name the Profinet interface if you like. Okay, so you can see at this point the IP address of the PLC is showing 192.168.0.1. So by default Siemens PLC used to come with this default IP address 192.168.0.1. So if you want to change it, you can decide to change it. Okay, but we are not changing it for the purpose of this class. Now for the analog input and output too, you can do some settings that has to do with the analog input and output. When we get to the part of the analog part of this course, we are going to discuss more on this. So you can decide the kind of measurement type, you can decide the kind of measurement range that you want your PLC to use. Okay, so now that which is purely what we are going to be using in this class. So your digital input and output part of the PLC, you can give it a name if you want, and then uh, you can uh, you can give it comment. So if you want some this diagnosis feature to be available for those for those inputs, then you can check this so that it can let you know that there is no supply voltage. So the same thing for the output. Okay, so this we can check an overview of the addresses. Okay, so you can see we have input. When you see I input, O is trying to show you the output. So how many uh digital input do we say we have? We have 16 digital input and 16 digital output, and that makes up 2 bytes. Okay, 2 bytes. 8 bits make a byte. Okay, 8 bits make a byte. So we can, I think, hold on. If you come to the IO tags here, you'll be able to see how those tags are, how those addresses are being programmed for use. Okay, so you will see that we have for the boolean, you can see our addresses start from what? I10.0. Okay, so I10.1, I10.2, I10.3, I10.4, I10.5. So up to I10.7, that's the first byte. Okay, and then we have 11.0, 11.1 up to 11.7. That's the second byte for the input. For the output, we have Q4.0 up to Q4.7, Q4.5 up to Q4.7. You have all that's the configuration for the